Yo, what's up, everybody? What's going on? See this thing doing the same thing it did before. Hope everybody's had a great day. Give me a few minutes. I got a little music in the background while I do some tagging. Okay. Gotta go this way. Okay. Yeah, a little something in the back, a little message in the back. Many of us have a tendency to forget about the blessings that we have around us every day. The blessings of life, blessings of strength and health. The blessing that in the midst of a coronavirus pandemic, man, we still got each other. We still got each other. You know, I get so frustrated when I interact with people in the community and they seem to always be angry or have attitudes and stuff like that. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Just because we differ in opinions definitely does not make us enemies. And once we understand the concept of shared oppression, we understand we got to stand tall together. We have got to stand together because there's a whole system out here that's trying to keep certain people oppressed. Okay? And those who sympathize with them, those who empathize with them in oppression. So we got to do better, folks. We got to do better. See if I can get a few more folks tagged on this. And please, anybody that's tagged that doesn't want to be on, please feel free to untag yourself. If it shows up on your timeline, just delete it. Please. There's so many easy ways to settle differences without getting all huffy and puffy and carrying on. Life's too short. I'll be hitting that 68-year mark in a few months. God spare life, health, and strength. And I've learned a lot over them years. And I got something that's up under me that I wish they'd learned it sooner than I learned it. But we all in this together, folks. We all we got. We all we got. Friday and Saturday, I visited with loved ones. I lost someone very close to me. 90 years old, she was. 90 years old. We just celebrated her birthday in January. An inspiration to me. Somebody whose faith was solid, not shaken, and who went on to be with her Jesus a week ago. Let me get a couple of more people on here. And also the sister of a very good friend of mine, her older sister. Folks, life is too short. You better be thankful for what you got. You better be thankful for what you got. You may not have a great big Cadillac, gangster white walls, TV antenna in the back. Be thankful. Don't care what you got, be thankful for it. I know I am. I'm thankful for each one of you all too. More than thankful for each one of you all too. You all are just amazing, amazing people. Good evening, Brother Julius. What's going on? Alrighty. Claire, how are you? Erica, what's going on? My sister, we all we got for sure. For sure. David, what's happening? Papa Smurf in the house. Good to see you, brother. Congratulations to my bestie once again. For sure. Peace and blessings, my brother. Sister Millicent, what's going on? Alrighty. Millicent, please make sure that you put any connections to your website or whatever. Millicent is running for District 116, South Carolina House seat. So please, Millicent, feel free to put your website there. That's only open to people that I've openly endorsed. So if I ain't endorsed you, don't do it. Don't do it. I ain't scared of none of y'all, for sure. Yes, sir. Annette, what's going on? Good to see you. Kat, all right, good to see you also. We're going to give folks a couple of more minutes to get on before I jump into this thing. But just like I was saying, though, you know, man, life is too short to be always looking for reasons to go in on each other. And I know it's somebody that need to hear this right now. It's too short. It's easier to walk away from a confrontation than it is to get to start a confrontation or to get involved in a confrontation. Folks, that's why we got the situation coming out of the White House that's inciting people out here in these communities to act a fool, to bust all up in our state houses with military assault style weapons, flak jackets, and high capacity magazines. That's crazy. Never had that happen in our nation. Of course, we've had black folks being killed by white folks and by the law for a long time. But there's an escalation of this. There's an escalation of hate groups in America. And when I say hate group, they hate everybody but people that look like them. And they don't realize one fact, that they need to be thankful for everybody who don't look like them, because the bloodline that they have comes from people that don't look like them. And this ain't their country anyway. Let that sink in. This ain't their country anyway. Want to make America great again? Empower the Native Americans then. Give them back what we took from them, what they took from them. That's making America great again, for sure. Jackie, what's going on? Elizabeth, good to see you all. All righty, thank you all for so much for coming in. Let's see, 8:35. I'm going to give about 2 more minutes and we're going to jump on into this. But yeah, just the concept of being thankful for what you got. We have an America right now that's ungrateful for what it has. I guess that's what happened when Donald Trump made America great again. Made America even more ungrateful for what it has than before. America had a country that was built off the backs of slaves, free labor, and the people today, that the white people today are still capitalizing off of the blood, sweat, and tears of those who were forced here from Africa, forced into slavery, beaten, raped, any kind of atrocity you can think of, hung from trees, drugged behind trucks in modern times. White America capitalized off of that, and still to this day, we got people like Donald Trump and the people that follow Donald Trump, and I don't care whether you one of them nice Republicans or whatever. If you follow behind them, you part of the problem too. Promoting this hatred. Promoting hatred in America. And America will never be great as long as we have hatred in America. You know, when I ran for U.S. Senate in 2016, in my opening speech, I talked about, I used the phrase that America has never been great. And from a black man's perspective, I'm going to stand by that. But I had a very close friend of mine who just happens to be in the state legislature come to me afterward and said, don't never say that. Don't never say that. What? I'm not going to tell the truth? You must be kidding me. For me as a black man in America, for my ancestors, for Ahmaud Arbery and Walter Scott and Mike Brown, America ain't never been great. For all of our minimum wage workers out here and our people who can't afford health care, for our senior citizens who have been robbed of their benefits as they got older by a Republican system in particular with support from Democrats, for them, America ain't great. So why, just because I'm campaigning, I'm getting ready to tell a lie talking about America? I'm not going to say America ain't great. I looked at that brother. I said, man, I'm sorry, bro. I'm about telling the truth. And we need more politicians out here. Public servants is what they really should be. that are more willing to tell the truth than to do or say what's politically correct. And that's one of the reasons why we're in the predicament where we're in with these Republicans, because they're bullies. And until you confront a bully gonna keep on doing what they're doing. And we just been playing this sweet tea politics with them, politically correct politics with them, and don't want to go head to head with them and tell them, nah, we ain't going for that. And it just ain't at the politics level, at the political level. It's also at the ground level with you and I and the people around us, people who talk that mess about, I ain't voting, what good is voting? People who won't go out and stand up for their rights or join others who are out there on the ranks trying to fight for their own rights, fighting for health care, fighting for better education for our children, fighting to end gentrification and open up rapid transit for us. We out here grinding, and the same people who have the most to complain about won't get on board and do it with us, won't stand with us. So they're just as bad as the Republicans as far as I'm concerned. You're an enemy to the society if you don't do what it takes in order to make the society right, period. And it's Pastor Dixon. It's tight, but it's right. And if you don't like it, hasta la vista, baby, for sure. I love you anyway. We just disagree. We just might have to disagree on something. So once again, I'm so happy to see everybody today on the live. So many different people popping on. Yes. Miss Avella, what's going on? Diana, how are you? Good to see you. Missy, what's happening? All righty. Evangelist Patricia Wright, happy birthday. I can't sing. Happy birthday to you, for sure, once again. All righty. Much love to you, sister, and much love to the work you do. Please, I pray whenever you're in the motherland that you just let the ancestors know that Pastor Dixon out here trying to make it right for somebody, for sure, in their name. That's for sure. Humble singer in the house. Good to see you. All right. Show you right. Never. All right. Sharika, how you doing? All right. Good to see you. And keep that great work that you're doing up. Please keep that great work that you're doing up. Gina, what's going on? Regina Duggins in the house, candidate for House District 111. Regina, hey, I know you have an opponent. Okay, so folks, Gina is in the race for House District 111. Research her if you're in that district. Find out what she represents and everything, and what her platform is. And please, if you feel that Gina is the person to represent your best interests, stand with her. Okay. All righty. It's on everybody to make sure that you understand who your candidates are and to make sure that you're promoting, supporting, and backing them in whatever way you can, be it phone banking, be it, well, we can't knock on doors too much these days, but helping out in whatever case. If you got a little money, drop some dollars on these candidates for sure. I done ran for office. Now I'm running from office. Yeah, that was a Freudian slip. I ran for office. Now I'm running from office for sure. But campaigns need money. That's for sure. Sister Marilyn, what's going on? How are you? All righty. If y'all don't know Marilyn, y'all need to get to know Marilyn. She's a warrior out here for social justice, and somebody that I do believe, and this is my own personal opinion, I believe that a large area of our Democratic Party in South Carolina is scared of that young lady, for sure. All power to the people, sister, for sure. All right, Diana, what's going on? Gwendolyn, all righty. Yes. Oh, man, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. He said that, we'll know the truth and the truth shall set us free. And he also said that he sends us as his emissaries out here to tell that truth. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do. And that's all I've been trying to do and to share since March 14th, when I first got the issue laid in my spirit that there was a problem with this coronavirus. Okay, at that point, it was very serious in Italy. It hadn't come to the United States. This was March 10th when I first read a letter, March 14th when I did my first Facebook Live, and haven't cut it loose since then. Okay, and I'm not going to until we see a change. But I'm not going to do as much as I've been doing as I'm moving forward, because the people that are on here, you all get it. I think you all get it. The new people that's out here, but even though there are some people that right now, I see them sort of backtracking because they're falling for the banana in the tailpipe, man. You can't trust a lot that goes on in the world today, especially in Trump's America. You can't trust what you see. You know, you can't trust a liar to be truthful, and those up under his administration. And we look historically at the last pandemic of this type, 102 years ago, where 675,000 Americans died in it. 64,000 South Carolinians died in 1918 from the pandemic. And the same thing that we see happening right now about people raising Cain and I don't want to get outside and I got to go to the beach and I need to go back to work and all of that. Because that happened, that's why those numbers inflated the way that they did then. And also because the government played down the numbers so that the people would feel more comfortable getting back out and spending their money and energizing the economy. And it cost lives, a whole bunch of lives, okay? What's up, niece? All right, Trish, how you doing? All right, good to see you. Holly, what's going on? Good to see you, as always. Carol, I've totally endorsed you, so please, if you have your contact information for your campaign, put it in the comments section here. You're fully authorized, okay? Only those that I have been able to publicly endorse. Some of the campaigns I can't publicly endorse because I have associates on both sides and both candidates are good candidates, okay? There's one race that I have a problem with it, with at least 2 out of the 3 candidates. So we'll talk about it more, though, another time. Yep. Sean, what's going on? Charnel, what's happening? All right. Maisha, how are you doing? All right. Tell the family I say, hey, I talked to baby sister yesterday for a little while, too. It was good to hear her voice. She sounds a lot stronger than when I talked to her last week, and that's for sure. Yeah, my sister in Chicago, folks, for y'all that don't know, she got hit with this coronavirus and been in the hospital for several weeks now and almost ain't make it, okay? So while we sitting around playing games and carrying on and talking about, oh, man, it's just the flu. Lies you tell. Lies you. Let somebody close to them, folks been talking all that mess all this time. Let somebody close to them get sick or they get sick themselves. I bet they changed that tune then, for sure. Okay, all righty. Yes. Yes, 91,000 dead and counting, Maryland. 91,000 dead. Let me get to the numbers then right quick. Because you all know I could run off at the mouth for days, okay? I got that knack. I got that habit, But I hope that when I am running off at the mouth, one thing is making sense. Secondly, it's the truth. Because if I'm lying, and please, and you catch me, or I don't know something, please correct me. I'm open to correction. I don't fight with people that correct me, okay? For sure. I receive instruction because that way I can continue to grow. It's these people who block instruction because they got their own way of thinking about things. That's where the problem lies at. That's exactly what we see in the White House. That's exactly what we see in our Republican Senate. That's what we used to see in our Republican House before the Democrats took control of the House. That's what we see in our South Carolina General Assembly. And that's what we see in certain mayor's office and school districts and county councils across our state, for sure. People who refuse to embrace the fact that they're wrong at certain times. Me, I'll embrace that fact. I'll embrace it for sure. Yeah, she's getting better slowly but surely. That's for sure. God is awesome. Vanessa, how you doing? Good to see you. All righty. Brother Dave, what's happening, brother? All righty. Any campaign information that you have, Dave? Of course, because I stand fully with you in your campaign. I don't think you're primary, though. Make sure that you put your website in the comments on here, okay, so folks can follow you. Get with Dave, okay, Dave Quick, okay, and make sure you put the district that you're running for on there, okay. And so I'm sorry, but it slipped my mind. I don't have the notes for it, even though I should. All right, let's get to the numbers. Let's get into this thing, okay. All righty, and I'm gonna run through these numbers real quick, okay. So the coronavirus in America, even though we had a couple of deaths were reported in February, supposedly, okay, that I think that's been verified, but officially the first deaths we had were on March 1st, okay, March 1st, 78 days ago, 78 days, 2.5 months ago, the first death happened in the United States on March 1st. So actually, I'm going to say the first 2 or 3 deaths, okay? One month later, by April 1st, that number had zoomed up to 4,808. By April 1st, the number had gone up to 4,808 deaths in the United States from 2 on March 1st. Okay. That means that in the month of March, there were 4,806 deaths, 4,800 deaths in the month of March. That's raw dog, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. But by May 1st, 30 days later, that number had gone from 4,800 to 63,512. In the month of April, 58,706 Americans died from the coronavirus, while people was running around talking about it's just the flu. 58,000, almost 59,000 in the month of April. So now, today, as of May 17th, and this number is from like 2 hours ago, and I'm quite sure it's just about 900,000 now. I mean, 90,000 now, please. I don't want to see no 900,000. 90,000 now. But today, as of a couple of hours ago, May 17th, the number of coronavirus deaths in the United States is 89,549. 89,549 deaths in 78 days, in 2.5 months, in 9 weeks. 89,000, almost 90,000 dead because of the coronavirus in less than 3 months' time. Yeah, this thing's serious, okay? Tell you, what about just the month of May? Since this is the 17th day of May, right? So just in this month, in May, there's been 26,000 deaths in 17 days. 26,000 deaths since May 1st. Come on, somebody. And we playing games? That's crazy. 6 days ago, on the 11th, we passed 80,000. Since last Monday, 10,000 people in America have died. 10,000 people in the last 6 days. And we got people saying, oh, it's just the flu. It's all right. It's all right. We need to go back to work. I mean, no, we don't need the social distance anymore. I'm tired of staying in the house. I need to get my hair done and all of this. They don't realize the extent of damage that's being done out here. The broken lives, broken hearts. I went to 2 funerals where social distancing was mandatory. Only so many people could go inside, and then inside you couldn't get close or whatever, and hugging and all of that was discouraged. Because this thing's serious. It's serious. Not even to mention people that die in quarantine. I'm not even going to go there right now tonight. Been there already, okay? In the last 6 days, 10,000 people have died. And since the beginning, since the first deaths on March 1st, I said 78 days, right? 31 days in March, 30 days in April, plus 17 days in May. That's 78 days, okay? In 78 days, nearly 90,000 people have died in America. It's not globally, in America, from the coronavirus. It's crazy. Thank you, Gina. Gina's website and everything is posted up here, okay? Lisa, what's going on? All right, good to see you also. Keep grinding, sister, for sure. Troy, what's going on? Good to see you, my brother. Mary, all righty, good to see you. Echo Task Force in the house. Yes, we have a group that is trying to deal not only with the opioid issue out here, but also with other substance abuse issues. And we're trying to partner up with organizations. So holla at your boy. Y'all holla at your boy if y'all want to. If you have an organization that wants to have presentations that we do, things like that, just let us know. Okay, we've got information. We've got for opioid uses, we have Narcan and things of that sort that can be used in order to counter these things, okay? So we own it, doggone it, for sure. I'm so appreciative of Mary and of everybody that's involved with the Echo Task Force, okay? So those are the national numbers, okay? But what about South Carolina? What about South Carolina? What about home, okay? And y'all can say what y'all want about me. Yeah, I'm going to come here, okay? But I've been here since 1985. And if that don't qualify this as home for me, I got one grown daughter and a granddaughter that was born here. I got a grandson that was born here. My daughter-in-law is from Lancaster, South Carolina. So if I ain't qualified yet, I guess I ain't never gonna be. Y'all, South Carolinians need to stop that foolishness, okay, for sure. And just because a person wasn't born here, they wasn't born on the hike, don't mean they can't represent you on the hike, okay. That's not a qualification for representation. Could being born somewhere. No. I'm going to just drop that out there, okay? That's way offline. But yeah, South Carolina COVID-related deaths, okay? Wow. 62 days. The first death in South Carolina happened 15 days after the first death in the United States. So March 16th, we had our first death in South Carolina. 15 days later, on April 1st, we had 26 deaths. Okay, so the first death was on March 16th. 15 days later, it was 26. Okay, so in the month of March, we had 26 total deaths. Okay, 30 days later, on May 1st, that number had gone from 26 deaths to 256 deaths. So in the month of April, in the 30-day month of April, we had 230 deaths in South Carolina. Of course, when we look at the national numbers or whatever, that seems like a small number. But when you talk to the people and the families who have lost somebody to COVID, and you'll realize that it ain't small. It's not little. It's not insignificant. It's not anything to trivialize. It's very, very major. Talk to the grandchildren that done lost Granny and Pop. Talk to the children whose parent went to the emergency room because they didn't feel good and never came home. Talk to them. Talk to our funeral directors who'd have to handle the dead now with special gear on so that they don't contract this virus and die. Talk to our healthcare workers who are out here interacting. Talk to those people like Papa Smurf who have to get up every day because he's what's called an essential worker. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. An essential worker. And in order to keep our city running and you and I having a place that's suitable and fit, he gets up every day and goes to work in spite of whatever apprehensions he might have about contracting this disease. So for them people that's playing light and loose with this thing, if you don't know about it, quit talking about it, for sure. Because there's people out here that's hurting because of this thing. 90,000 in the United States in 78 days. And as of May 1st, in South Carolina, 256. But that was as of May 1st. We're 17 days into May 1st now, right? So what's the numbers now? The number right now is 385 deaths. 385 deaths in South Carolina. Okay. On May 1st, we had 256 deaths, and today we have 385. In 17 days, we had 129 deaths here in South Carolina. Remember, we went from 15 days in the beginning having 26 deaths. Remember that? I said that, right? From March 16th to April 1st, we had 26 deaths in that 15 days. In the last 17 days, we had 129 deaths. And people kept telling me about the numbers are getting better. It's looking better. And they're justifying it by definitions and stuff like that. I'm justifying what I'm saying by bodies, by body counts, toe tags and body bags, okay? That's what my mind understands. My mind doesn't understand all the rest of that stuff, but I can look at this progression. I can look at how people are dying, and I can see that more people are dying now than when in March. I can look and see that more people are dying now than in April. And I thought it was kind of funny that, earlier in March, I think right around the 4th or something like that, the South Carolina DHEC came out with a projected figure that we would max out in South Carolina at 361 deaths by August 4th. Okay, from then until August 4th, we would max out at 361 deaths. A few days later, we passed over 361. We went right past that number. And so they had to readjust the numbers. So now the new number is 469 by August the 4th. But right now, today, we're up to 385. I guarantee you they're going to readjust that number again because we're going to go past that number. People out here playing games, playing word games, playing number games, number games. It's one of the reasons why I couldn't just move on to where I wanted to be at tonight on this. Brian, what's going on? Michael, how you doing? All right. Yes, sir, Papa Smurf, you're absolutely right. Blacks and poor people are more prone to be the victims of this thing because we are the essential workers. I'm going to talk about that. We ain't been essential since we was brought over here on the boat. Now, all of a sudden, we essential. But they don't want to pay us no hazardous duty pay. Let that sink in a minute. I gave a live about a month ago. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. That's it. LT, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. All right, Michelle. All right, good to see you. All righty. So here's the dilemma I see. When I talk about playing with these numbers, Dr. Bell, what's going on? Good to see you. When I talk about playing with these numbers, okay, I noticed something. Okay, and it happened over the last 2 weeks, 2 weekends, as a matter of fact. Over the last 2 weekends, last weekend, there was one death reported. Saturday and Sunday, one death in South Carolina reported. And yesterday, Saturday, they said, no, we had no deaths in South Carolina. And I've been watching these numbers for a long time. And I'm just, something ain't sitting right inside of me when I look at them, when they say that, okay? One death Saturday and Sunday last week, and then this weekend, no deaths on Saturday. They finally did release that today. There was 5 deaths. But I something just ain't right, as Keith Sweat so aptly said back in the day. So let me look at it, okay? Let's look at it a little bit, okay? The words that I got from other people was that, well, they're not reporting on the weekends, okay? They're not giving numbers, okay? And I like to hear from people who make statements like that and have nothing to back it up with. They're just making stuff, throwing stuff out there. Oh, they're not working on the weekend, so they let the numbers roll over till Monday. Well, the history does not support that. Here's what I'm saying, because like I said, I've been tracking this thing since March 14th, okay? Between March 16th and April 1st, okay, we had 25 deaths during that time. And that's with counting 7-day periods, okay, 4 weeks. And there was no breaks whatsoever in the weekly reports. We had deaths reported on Saturdays and Sundays, just like we did on Monday through Friday. Wasn't no difference. That was from March 16th to April 1st. From April 1st to April 30th, okay, during that period, we had 203 deaths. Guess what? There was no breaks in the weekly reports whatsoever during that time. Every Saturday and Sunday, the numbers were reported just as the number of deaths were reported just as they happened. There was no breaks in there. Wasn't nobody not going to work and getting his job done. The numbers were there. So now let's talk about May. What about May? Starting with May 1st. Okay, Friday, May 1st. Friday, May 1st, South Carolina DHEC reported that we had 11 deaths on Friday, May 1st. On Saturday, May 2nd, South Carolina DHEC reported we had 8 deaths. And then again on Sunday, South Carolina DHEC reported that we had 8 more deaths. So here we're getting a report of the deaths on the weekend, right? There's been no breaks until, okay, so that was that first weekend in May. Saturday and Sunday, both days, we had 8 deaths reported. So during that next week, from May the 4th to Friday the 8th, on Monday the 4th, we had DHEC reported, and all of these are DHEC reports, okay? DHEC reported that we had 9 deaths that Monday. On Tuesday, we had 13 deaths. On Wednesday, we had 11 deaths. On Thursday, we had 4 deaths. And on Friday, we had 10 more deaths. And then we got the last weekend, not this weekend we're at right now, but the last weekend. And then on Saturday and Sunday of last weekend, guess what? We had 1 death. One death after having numbers like that reported on the weekends and during that week. That week we had 9 deaths one day, 13 deaths another day, 11 deaths another day, 4 deaths another day, and 10 deaths another day. And then on Saturday and Sunday we had 1 death. Something just ain't right. And then last Monday the 11th, we went back to business as usual. Okay. Herbeline, how you doing? Danielle, good to see you. Alrighty. Went back to business as usual. Last Monday, we had 15 deaths. Remember, Saturday and Sunday, we had 1 a week ago. Last Monday, we had 15 deaths. Tuesday, we had 9 deaths. Wednesday, we had 7 deaths. Thursday, we had 9 deaths. And Friday, we had 9 deaths. And yesterday, we had 0. Nobody died yesterday. After those numbers being consistent for 5 straight days, 0. Again, something just ain't right. And like I said, today we did get another report saying that, we did get 5 deaths, and that just came out about maybe an hour or so. 5 deaths in South Carolina today. But I think they playing with these numbers, because it's not that they're shutting down on the weekends and not reporting, okay, and piling up the numbers for Monday. I just showed that. They've been reporting since March 16th, the numbers every weekend. Then all of a sudden, not this weekend, but last weekend, something happened. Now, this is Pastor Dixon, and this is my opinion, because I sure can't. If I could find it legally, I would take this thing straight to somebody's court or whatever. But I do believe that what happened was the reason why we had that 1 death recorded Saturday and Sunday of last week is because that Friday and that Thursday was when they started opening everything back up. When they started letting people back out. And they wanted people, just like it happened in 1918, they wanted the people to have a good thought in their mind, like, oh, it's not that bad out here. We haven't had any deaths over the last. We had 1 death on Saturday. Let's go to the beach. Let's go out. We don't have to even social distance that much, because we're getting over. And I saw somebody put that up today. We're getting over. This is a good thing. We're getting over it. But there's no trends. The CDC recommends that we have a 14-day decline before we even go out. We're doing it backwards. We're going out then asking about the decline. And then looking at 1 day talking about, yes, we did it. Lies you tell. Lies you tell. It's putting people in jeopardy, people's lives in jeopardy. So that was last weekend, right? When what happened? The beaches opened up and all these other stores were opening up and all of this here. And what about this weekend? What about why yesterday 0 and today 5 when we've been having 15 and 20 deaths on the weekends, okay? Why this weekend too? Well, what happens on tomorrow, the 18th? Tomorrow on the 18th, guess what? Our barbershops opening up, our hair salons opening up, our waxing salons and threading salons and nail salons and body art facilities and tattoo services and tanning salons and massage therapies and fitness centers and gyms and yoga studios and pools, all these things opening up tomorrow. So I personally believe, and this is my opinion, straight up, I'm telling you, this is my opinion. Hey, Vet, how you doing? Kendall, what's going on? Sharice, Kim, Rodney. Yes, Gems. This is my opinion. My opinion is that we have these low numbers on the weekend because we know that during the week people are occupied and staying at home more and going to work and everything and not going out. But come the weekend, they want to be right up here, feeling comfortable in going back out and interacting so they can spend that loot. Let's get things back to normal, right? Let's get our economy recovered, jump started. I think this is a dangerous game that's being played. And I have some historic precedent to base that on that happened in 1918. Because the government did the exact same thing. They fudged the numbers to give the people a false sense of security so they would go back and energize the economy and get started back up again without realizing the depth of destruction that the Spanish flu of that day would have because of their slack procedures. They're relaxing their procedures. And right now, our government does not realize the potential, or they don't want to realize the potential that COVID-19, the coronavirus, has to do the same thing or even worse than happened in 1918. I could be wrong, and I continue to say this. I pray that I am wrong, because if I'm wrong, people are going to live. Okay? People are going to live if I'm wrong. I have no problem coming back and saying I am so happy I was wrong. But folks, if I'm right, remember in 1918, 675,000 Americans died. 675,000 Americans died. 64,000 in South Carolina died. 64,000. Because of the same mess that they're doing right now. For sure. And in 1918, of course, black people had a very bad outcome with that too, because we weren't even denied health. I mean, we weren't allowed to have health care then. Oh, that's happening now, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's for sure. That's it. No, Diana, you can't believe the numbers. Kim, what's going on? We are being manipulated. I personally believe, But that's the numbers. That's the numbers. Let me move on from there, okay? That's the numbers. Please pass that information on to other people. Just let them know. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't look at that report that said that yesterday there was 0 deaths, or last weekend there was 1, without pointing out the fact that Monday through Friday we had almost 50 each week. Get back to that. And then say, okay, now when that starts, when I see a 2 to 3, 4, 5 day trend where those numbers are low like that, then I'll start, trying to believe it. But if the government is fudging the numbers right now, I don't have a hard time believing even when I see change, because I can't trust them. I hope I get enough time to talk about the elections coming on, because trusting politicians is big in my book. And getting people elected to office that you can trust is big in my book. Okay, because there's a lot of them out here that was able to pay that fee. But trust me, you can't trust them. Okay, for sure. All righty. So I talked a minute about like Papa Smurf and others. You all know my wife is a healthcare professional in respiratory therapy. So she actually works in the department that is pivotal and crucial to handling COVID patients, because the coronavirus attacks the lung system. And many who contract this disease wind up on ventilators, and it's respiratory therapists who are the ones that take care of that aspect of the patient care. So when we pat doctors on the back and we pat nurses on the back, and we forget about the respiratory therapists and the x-ray technicians and the anesthesiologists and the food service people and the housekeepers that clean rooms and all of that, when we forget about the truck drivers that keep them supplied, and all these other workers out here, when we forget about that, they're essential. You don't have to have an MD after your name or a PhD after your name to be essential. Essential means necessary. And what's not necessary is to have initials after your name, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, in order to get a job done that's going to help and benefit people. There's a message in there for somebody who needs to know that. But yesterday, okay, the United States House of Representatives, they put through a bill for a second stimulus package. Okay, some of us got them checks. Okay, a little $1,200, a little chump change, because that's all it was. I had a good friend of mine who, I guess he cracked a joke on me or whatever, saying, "I bet you spent that MAGA check." First off, that's taxpayer money. That ain't MAGA nothing. Okay, that's my money. That's my money that I spent into the system that I got back. And even if it was MAGA money, I spent the heck out of that money. For sure. For sure. Well, actually, I didn't spend it. I gave most of mine away. Just that simple. To different organizations that are in need. Out here. Different people that are in need. So, for people that want to, tout themselves and build them up or whatever, so forth, for jokey joke's sake, more power to you. It's all right. But the House convened, came up with a package. Of course, the Democratic-led House of Representatives, the United States House of Representatives, is now Democratic-led, where it hadn't been until 2018 when we took the House. Okay, prior to that, it was Republicans, the House and the Senate. Now the Republicans have control of the Senate still. Okay, so the Dems came up with a package. I think it's like a $3 trillion package. Okay, that would take care of a lot of things that were missed out in the first package, right along with the fact with putting some more money into the hands of the people. Other countries, they're giving stipends to their people like $800 a week, period, in order to keep their economy going, while we're giving out stimulus money to major corporations and billionaires and millionaires, for sure. Yep, that's what we do. But they put this package on the table, right? And they approved it in the House for $3 trillion. Part of that $3 trillion to go to pay our essential workers, okay, hazardous pay during this coronavirus. People who have to be out and involved in this community to give them hazardous pay or a major bonus or something to show our appreciation for it. Many of our hospital workers ain't getting nothing but their regular salary. If they don't go to work, they're making them take PTO, paid time off, or just time off, period. That's abuse within a pandemic, for sure. And so the House said, okay, then included in this stimulus package, let's get some money set aside so we can make sure those essential workers, not just in hospitals, I believe, but other essential workers also are getting paid for it. They passed it in the House. Now it goes to the Senate because it has to pass both the House and the Senate before the president has to sign off on it, which I doubt if he's going to sign off on anything the Democrats want anyway. But it's already been said that the Senate Majority Leader, which is Mitch McConnell, a Republican, okay, and the majority in the Senate is Republicans, he's already said that that bill is going to be dead on arrival, that they're not going to pass that bill in the Senate. A bill that ultimately will help businesses, our economy, and even more importantly, those workers that have been putting their lives on the line. Some have even lost their lives to the coronavirus during the last 78 days. Them folks. Now, I want to clarify something about this essential worker thing. I don't really understand what they're talking about essential workers. All workers are essential. Every last worker is essential, no matter who says what. I don't care. It's not like Black Lives Matter when you talk about all lives matter. No, this is all workers are essential, no matter what your job is. That's why it's a job, because you're essential. And for the Republican Senate to deny our essential workers, no matter how they define those essential workers, to deny them additional funds, even though the president says that we're in a war with an invisible enemy. If this is a war, soldiers get hazardous duty pay. And so the soldiers that's on our front line against this invisible demon in this war need to be receiving hazardous duty pay. And if the first thing that's coming out of the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's mouth is this bill is dead on arrival, that ain't sitting too well with me, and it shouldn't sit too well with anybody else, any right-thinking person in America. I guess I shouldn't say right-thinking person, because somebody might equate that with the right, which a lot of times right now, the right is the wrong. But anybody that has just the common sense would go along with at least that part of it. Say, okay, it's the bill is dead on the floor, except for the part about paying the essential workers hazardous pay. See, just those simple words matter. Just those simple words would say this guy cares about people out here. But did he say that? Nope. Did any of his Republican cohorts say that? Nope. Not a bit. Yeah, you're right, Diana. Busy pushing through more judges, Republican judges. They are, man, they setting us up for sure. For those who ain't watching, they setting us up. While we out here, we want to get back to the club. You know, they setting us up for sure. We ain't never gonna be free in America. We keep playing around. And the election is right around the corner. You know, these are the same people though that have never looked out for the people. Never. So there's no reason to think that they're gonna start right now. They've done everything they can to take back everything that President Obama put in place. They've put down what's called Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. They fight against universal health care. They claim that health care is an entitlement. I don't get that, especially when they try to celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday, and Martin Luther King said that health care is a human right. So my thing is, though, you know, if they're going to act that way about health care and then try to pawn off some kind of love for Dr. King, they need to shut the heck up and go on to work on his holiday, because they don't believe in nothing that Dr. King stand for. Their love for their fellow men stops at their bankroll. Okay, yeah, I said it. It's tight, but it's right. All right. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? But healthcare, education. They're setting up an education system where the only ones that will benefit from that education system are those who have, okay? It's a new age segregation called privatization. Okay? And it's the same thing that our current school board, Eric Mack being the chair, Kate Darby, Cindy Bond Coates, what's dude from downtown, okay? Those that have been on that board that long and others have been fighting against, they're the same ones that's trying to privatize our school system and basically set our poor kids up for a life of crime, vice, jail, and death, okay? Along the Betsy DeVos, Donald Trump's educational secretary, her line of thinking, okay? So the Republicans ain't never been down for that. They ain't never been down for common sense gun legislation that might save people's lives. They ain't never been down for paying people a living wage until now they want to say, okay, we understand about how giving money to the people is going to help the economy because we're right in the middle of a darn pandemic. But we've been telling people for a long time in the Fight for 15, telling them, give people the money at the bottom and that's how we're going to build the economy. They fought against that. They've consistently fought against that. These people ain't no good. These people are no good for America. And that's why we must vote. That's why this year our elections are so crucial. And I say elections because there's an election on June 9th called the primary election that opens up the door for certain candidates to move on to the general election. Folks, we're not going to change this attitude in Washington or our state house, in our school board, our county council, or some of our mayor's offices until we change the people that are in office and get people who think right in those seats. And then once they get there, we hold them accountable for doing the right thing. Because if we don't do that, that's really what's happened with a lot of the Democratic elected officials over the years. The people have put them in office and they've just basically done nothing. And the people have never done anything other than just complain about it. It's time to stop that, people. It's time to hold our elected officials accountable. And that's one of the reasons why I back somebody like Carol Temple, or I back somebody like Millicent Middleton, because I know that when they get into office, Jesse Williams, the same thing. When they get into office, that they know that the people are going to be standing there holding them accountable for the service to the community. They know it. They know it. Not like a lot of these politicians that we've had in office who basically get in office and they want to do their own thing. They get all of the sense now and don't listen to the people anymore. You know, that has got to change from the Democratic side. But the one thing about the Republicans that I do know, and of course, you all know I ran against Tim Scott in 2016. I ran against Mayor Summey last year, both Republicans, okay? And I've been fighting against the Republican system long before I even decided to even run for office. I've been fighting for these things like quality health care or affordable health care ending gentrification, living wages, all of these things I've been fighting for since long before, since it got popular in 2016 with Senator Sanders. Okay, and I got the pictures on my Facebook page to prove it. Okay, but we have to understand that it's our obligation to vote in this primary election that's coming up, because how does the primary work? You have several candidates in a particular district who are running for one particular seat, several Democratic candidates or Republicans, okay, for those folks, but several Democratic candidates who are running for one seat. But we can only have one candidate running against the Republican in the general election. The general election is in November. The primary election is June 9th, okay? So we have several candidates that are running in a particular district, and we need to select the best candidate out of those several candidates to run. Sometimes it's just two candidates that are running, but one of them has to emerge victorious to run against the Republican in the general election. And that's what we're voting for right now. That's why your vote matters right now. That's why you need to be researching these people in your particular district. Go to scvotes.org and look up, put in a little information and find out your district, who your candidates you can get. You can even find a sample ballot there. Okay? But you can't use that ballot because right now we are in the early absentee in-person voting. You can actually vote in person right now, all the way up until June the 8th. You can vote in person over on Headquarters Row, and that's right behind where the old Bilo off of Leeds Avenue. Where Checkers is, right behind Bilo, there's a street called Headquarters Road right behind there where the Election Commission is. They're open Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 4 a.m. to 4 p.m., and you can go there with your ID, if you're registered, and vote now. There's like 16 reasons why you can go vote. And I think that they have laxed that because of the coronavirus. Or you can request, even on that website, a mail-in ballot. They'll send you the ballot to your house. You turn around and you mail that thing back in and you vote. Okay? You vote that way. But we have to decide who's going to be the best candidates for us to represent us. Now, I'm not going to talk about my choices right here. I did say some people that I'm actually supporting, okay? 3 in particular. Some of those that I'm not going to talk about are those that I think that in a race where there's 2, and both of them are really great candidates, I'm not going to say. Do your own research. But some I've already made a selection, and I'm going with them, and I'm going to talk about it on another live. But we have to decide right now to vote in this primary election. Not voting is not an option. Listen, I don't know how clear I can say it. I started out talking about all of these horrible numbers, okay, and the condition that we're in as a nation right now. And there are those who want to convince us that it's not all that bad. And usually those that are trying to convince us of that are of the red side and not the blue side, okay? They're the Republicans and not the Democrats. The ones that are talking about opening up our economy and get back to normal and everything with the threat of a killer that the experts say, if we don't stay diligent in our social distancing and our hand washing, in our wearing of masks and these things, if we don't stay diligent in these things, we can open up a major problem in the United States, just like we saw in 1918. Okay? So the ones who are trying to get us back to work, they're the Republicans. So, folks, we need to repeal and replace them. Trump talked about when he was running for office in 2016, draining the swamp. 2020, we need to flush the toilet because they're killing us. They're septic. They're toxic. And their toxicity is killing us as a people. Through coronavirus, the lack of concern over it, the fact that when the warnings came, they were ignored, the fact that our reserves of pandemic or epidemic supplies had been somewhat depleted, not fully depleted like they're trying to make out, like under President Obama, that there was all gone or something like that. No, there was plenty left, but they still needed to be replenished. And for 3 years, Donald Trump did nothing but fire the team that was put in place to help to set things in place for pandemics. These people are toxic. and they need to go. And you can tell me I'm generalizing or whatever. It's one thing, couple of things I do know. I know when it comes to Republicans, they don't believe in health care for all. They don't believe in quality public education. They don't believe in gun violence legislation. They don't believe in preserving the environment. They don't believe in equal rights for black, brown, red people. They don't believe in women's rights. They don't believe in LGBTQ rights. They don't believe in the rights of Americans to be Americans. They don't believe in those unalienable human rights of life, liberty, and happiness, unless it benefits them. And they make excuses. They make an excuse about Ahmaud Arbery because he shouldn't have run and grappled for his life for a gun. Oh, if he wouldn't have did that, if he wouldn't have went in that house, never is the responsibility on the people that look like them and that are doing the dirt. Never. Never. So it's time to change that. And how do we change that? We change that with the vote. We change that with the vote. We change that with the vote between now and June 9th. Early absentee, either in person or mail-in ballot. Get it done, folks. And then after that one particular candidate in each district is chosen, then we follow the campaign, support the campaigns all the way up until November, the 3rd, I believe it is, when the general election is. And we get the early vote or early absentee vote in the month of October, leading up to November. And we need everybody, Ray and Pookie and them, y'all in the block, if y'all registered, y'all need to, first off, y'all need to get registered if you ain't registered. Even though if you register now, you won't be able to vote in the primary. You will be able to vote in that general election. You need to get registered. But everybody needs to vote. Let there be no doubt in our minds. Because if not, and these people get back in again, you know how much damage has been done in less than 4 years under Donald Trump? Just by the people in the street that support his ideology. We had a young woman get run over by a truck, by a car in Charlottesville, West Virginia, just because she was protesting against some white supremacists. Run over and killed. I think there were like 18 people injured in that thing. Come on, somebody. These are not Democrats doing this. Hate crimes, they're not Democrats. People doing crazy stuff, blowing up stuff, they're not Democrats. So me, understanding that we need to win, I'm standing with the one group that I know that at least can beat the Republicans, and that's the Dems. Because there's no other group out here that's strong enough right now to do that. Okay? Yes, we do have problems within the Democratic Party, especially when it comes to the lack of focus on the African American community and the Latino community and the taking of for granted. And we need to force them to change that. But until that happens, this year, we need to make sure that Donald Trump and everybody that supports him is slapped out of there. Mitch McConnell, out of there. All of them, out of there. Our South Carolina State House, which both the House and the Senate in the South Carolina State House, the General Assembly, are both Republican controlled. Why you think we last in everything we should be first in, and first in everything we should be last in South Carolina? Why do you think that them numbers can look like they can in South Carolina? Because we got a governor who's a Republican too. And we got a school board superintendent who's a Republican too. And we got an attorney general who's a Republican too. Come on, somebody. It's on us to make the change. We have got to stand up and make the change. There's no other way I can put that out. Remember the numbers that I put out today. Understand that the numbers and the fact that it looks like they're not being reported right, this all falls in the lap of Republicans. Period. And just because you say you're a black Republican, that don't make no difference. If you support anything that they support, then you're part of the problem. Period. And I've been out here involved in this thing for too long not to know that. And I'm trying to share that with anybody else that wants to listen, okay? So please, we need to rock this vote. Get registered. Get out there. Check scvotes.org, that website, to make sure that you're registered, to pull up a sample ballot, and then march your happy behind right on over there to headquarters row. Wear your mask. Make sure you social distancing while you're there, and cast your ballot. When you go inside, after they check your information, they're going to give you a long Q-tip in order to touch the screen with, so that you don't have to put your fingers on the screen. The doors are open. You don't have to touch nothing. They got it set up really nice. Joe Debney has done a great job. Shout out to Joe Debney over to Charleston County Elections Commission, especially for the fact that while I was there, he told me, yes, they were just sending the ballots over to the Al Cannon Detention Center for those that are awaiting court, who are eligible to vote, can vote. It's something that we initiated. We started working on over 2 years ago, and it's happening now in Charleston County. And I think I'd asked him about that. I think that Sumter County might be the only other county that's doing anything like that out of 46 counties. We're leading the pack on that. Why? Because we said enough is enough, and we're not going to let those votes be overlooked of people sitting in county jail when they're eligible to vote. And Joe Debney over Charleston County Election Commission said, I agree with you. Let's see what we can do. And I must admit that the sheriff's office has also accommodated us to a certain degree as far as getting in to make this happen. So this is innovative. Each year we've lost each year hundreds of thousands of votes or tens of thousands of votes by people, predominantly African Americans, are sitting in jail, eligible to vote because they haven't been convicted of anything, but nobody ever went to them. I brought this to the South Carolina Democratic Party in 2016, and they just looked at me like this. Did nothing. I'm about telling the truth. That's what it's all about. But I appreciate everybody being on tonight. It's been about an hour now, and I'm sorry for taking so long here, but there was a lot to cover. Remember the numbers, and remember where this all starts at, and how we begin to make the change, how we actually begin to shift the dynamic. We have the power to shift the dynamic. You and I, we have the ballot. And if we use the ballot and we quit making excuses for it, and we tell all of our people out here, you must vote. And not only tell them, make sure that they do. Take somebody to the place or something like that. We have got to take back these seats in our South Carolina General Assembly, in our Congress, and we definitely have to take the White House in November. I don't care who your favorite is. Looks like Joe Biden's going to be it, okay? And ain't no time to be playing no games, period. You see what's happened with Donald Trump. You saw our beloved president, Barack Obama, a real president, get on there yesterday and then again last week, and basically put it out there. This dude done screwed America. Straight up. He used the term screwed, okay? So I'm going to knock off there. I just want to let you all know before, in closing, mark your calendars, set the time for Tuesday evening at 8:30. This Tuesday at 8:30, we got a special Facebook Live with the pastor and Mrs. Dixon. My wife is going to be joining me on Facebook Live, and we're going to talk about just some of the issues, and specifically also about her position as a healthcare professional in the coronavirus pandemic of 2020. It's a different perspective. It's a perspective that I can't really talk about because I'm not interacting with COVID patients or people that have contracted this disease yet. But my wife, she's going to sit in with me on Tuesday night. Please set your clocks. Tell somebody else to tune in. I'm going to be putting it out on Facebook, okay? Tune in and just get another perspective, a perspective from my lovely wife. And I'm really so happy that she's agreed to sit in and have that conversation. Why? Because she loves you all just as much as I love you, okay? So tonight, as I do every night, please call somebody and tell somebody you love them. That's a very simple thing to do. If you're inside of your house, yell to your children or something, I love you. Just out of the blue, surprise them. They'll probably be sitting there like, what's wrong? What's wrong with mom? What's wrong with pop? Tell them you love them. It might have been a little while since you've done that. About time to start practicing it. Maybe if we showed more love in our society, maybe we really would not have these issues that we're having right now. And those who don't love unconditional power the way that they are. Okay? So I'm just going to put that out there. Join me on Tuesday evening, 8:30 p.m. with myself. We're just seeing everybody. And in closing, again, I love you all, every last one of you. And guess what? There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Take care. God bless. Peace.